Alrighty, Doc here from North America, the day before the weekend. So. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What do we got going on today? Well, to start off with, hey Robin, they came out with the ECB, and ECB said, sure, we're going to, yeah, that's the ticket, something like that. They laid it out on some simplistic level. They said that they won't, but they might. They're going to definitely, they're going to do something. They have to do something. Unfortunately for them, compared to under Draghi or Mrs. Yellen when they were in charge of their central banks, they didn't get backed into a corner, and now they're backed into a corner. This inflation will not go away unless they stop printing so much money. So what they'll try to do is they'll try to nibble at it on the edges. They're going to rate. They didn't raise their rate this meeting, but the next one they promise they'll raise it a quarter percentage point. And they said they're not going to they're not going to continuously buy new product. Instead, they'll just manage the old product and roll it. I gotta laugh. I gotta cough at the same time. It's just people talk about the cryptos, and I had someone do it to me again. We talk about it a lot, where the cryptos basically are like, how great they are, and what, and so forth and so on, and I mentioned to them about what I mentioned here a couple of weeks ago about the Miami mayor who takes his pay in cryptos, has lost 50% of his income from doing that. They talk like it's some type of stable, stable thing, and it really isn't. It's not stable, and it's a new asset class. It's a contradiction to being a central bank, in other words. But as I said to someone a couple of days, I guess on Monday, I said, what it really comes down to is central banks are not going to be very easily ready to give up their ability to print money. They're not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. So, that's pretty much where it stands. It's going to go that way, and they're going to do their best to nibble on the edges, and they'll act like they're being more responsible, and they'll do all these things, and they, like I said, they don't have the luxury of Draghi, the previous European central banker, or Mrs. Yellen, the previous Fed chair. They have to do something. They have to act like they actually physically have to do it, not verbally. Draghi was great at that. He said things and did things. They are starting the press conferences now. Yeah, I read the transcript already. ADA is cheap. What is ADA? Let's check it out. Is that a stock? Is that a currency? ADA. ADA. Let's let me go to a spot and see if I can find it. As you can see there, we have the dollar index up on the J4X. You can see it's kind of firm, going sideways. Over here on our screen on Chicago Quant Technologies, right there, you can see it's down a little bit, and you can see it went into the sell yesterday, and the weekly went into a sell last week. And I have no problem staying with what I seen. The math will tell us in the end which way to go. But what is that? Hakkasanson Cardinal coin. Oh, it's a coin. It's a Bitcoin. It's a crypto. We can put up. We have a crypto here we can watch. We do this. We do Bitcoin, the biggest and the baddest. There it is, right there. It went into a sell yesterday. Whoop. You can see it right there. There's pressure on it. It's moving down. It's been in that weekly sell. Let's do this. We'll go like that. It's been in a weekly sell since back in here. You can see all that. It's from the 40s, mid 40s area. And let's check it out over on J4X. There it is right there, Bitcoin. Trying to generate a red going on today. You see the green line busting down and the volume dropping. So, yeah. I don't see, and I said this to somebody on Monday, at an event I was at. And I'll repeat it again. I said it no more than like a minute ago. Central banks will not give up so easily their ability to create cash. Create money. They're not going to do that so freely. It may happen. I think it's going to happen. But okay, so let's check out ADA. Let's open that up. Let's go like this. And go there and there. And so what we're going to see is we're going to see this pressure on the central banks. They don't have much of a choice. They have to do something. They have to. There is like not a let's see, where can I put it? There is nothing. There's the DAX. Let's see what the DAX is doing. DAX ended down yesterday. Now, why isn't that? There's no bid and offer out there right now. It's kind of odd. It just pushed down. It's still in the buy. There's DAX. Let's see, where can we put the ADA? Let's do it right where Federal Express is. Federal Express in a daily buy for 3 days now, going on a fourth today. And is that today? No, it's yesterday. And so you can see it's in a weekly buy since back here, and all it's done is going up and down, up and down. There was a winner chicken dinner. That was a nice one. That was a nice little win too. And this one is turning into a loss. Give up a few shekels from what you made there and there. Let's see. Let's replace it with cancel ADA. So that's where we are at the moment. Let's see. Add symbol. Stock. No, not option. Stock. ADA. Look up. Smart ASX. I don't know if I get ASX. And I know I don't get the London Stock Exchange. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get it on a delayed basis. That would be nice. ADA. There you go. It's giving us something, isn't it? See that there? There you go. So let's see what these things look like. There's the sell right there. There's the buy right there. There's the buy right there. The sell right there. That's this morning's tick. No, that's yesterday's tick. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? There's a buy right there. Let's move that over. Okay, that goes right there. Right there. And the sell is right there. And the buy is right there. And the sell is right there. There you go. And now it's been in the sell. Let's see where the sell's been. So it went into the buy there. Went back into a sell there. Move that buy over again. Yes. Over to there. And there it is. There's the a quick look at it right there. I hope that helps out. It's in a weekly sell from the 110 area. It went down to 90 something. What's the low there? 86. So it's about about an 18% drop over that week and a half, or like 3 weeks, I guess, something like that. 3 weeks in the weekly sell. The sell right there was a win. The sell right there is a win. Told you to cover there. It went into a sell and then a buy again. Let's grab one of these or put that in there. Where's that? Went into a sell there, and then it's a loser chicken dinner thing. Give up a little bit of your profit, but definitely you're way ahead still. Then it gets you a sell right there. Another winner. And then it goes into a buy, and then it goes into a sell, and it's not doing anything right now. How's that? Is that good? Metho 2000. I have a position on Forex in ADA. Metho from $3 to 60 cents. You mean you bought it as high as $3 and you've bought it as low as 60 cents? It's a quality coin. Don't know much about it. I just pay attention to Bitcoin. Let me show you the other one we do here. We do this one. We do the Coinbase. We've watched that thing roll over, but it's gone in the buy there the last couple of days. It's been holding up, but it's been in a weekly sell, Coinbase, basically the same time period as the last one you just showed me. Let's go back to that real quick. What is that? That is around April, the first week of April. Went into the sell 2 weeks later, the weekly sell. And then let's see what it looked like further back. Went into a sell here. You can move that back over one like so. Oh. So went into the sell there. It was in a daily sell from there for that whole slide. What defines quality? I don't want to get into a long conversation about it. I mean, I'll go. You mean it has good blockchain, or when it says it's a quality coin? What makes it a quality coin? I want to learn on this. So what makes it a quality coin? He lives in USA. Who's he? The guy that invented it? Cryptos they're not backed by anything except for they're the opposite of a central bank. So you're trading an asset that is competing with the central banks. So I'm a fan of cryptos. I like cryptos, but I like trading them. I don't marry them. I don't know who that guy is, but you know what I mean. Does the technology outpass everybody else's technology? Is that what makes it a quality coin? It's like gold. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I think it's better than gold. I do. I think cryptos are better than gold because we've seen gold get up to almost 70. We've seen cryptos get up to almost 70,000 in Bitcoin when measuring it by Bitcoin, and all we've seen is gold get up to about 2,200. So, gold. I think cryptos caught up. In other words, I really believe that cryptos have caught up to where they belong. I think I said this in a webinar about a week ago. I think cryptos are at fair value now, for what they are, and that is they are the opposition to central banks. He wants to make a better Ethereum. What makes a better Ethereum? Ethereum. Is it the technology? That's the that's the curious side of it all. What makes a better crypto? Without fails. Oh, okay. So some of these cryptos actually have problems. Their blockchain has problems. Interesting. That's a good thing then. Runs saver. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I'm a fan of the cryptos because I see them as the flip side of the central banks. I think the central banks have really shown their weakness of being irresponsible and just feeding to to the government cash. Yeah. Okay. So Bitcoin is slow. Ethereum has issues, and this particular crypto is. And where's it trading at again? Let's go take a look at it. $1.10. So that's not too bad. That sounds realistic. What is its all-time high? I wonder what that is. I wonder if let's get a chart up on there. See if I can. Let's see if I can find where the all-time. Let's see what it did back in November. So in November it was up to around dollar. Oh, it got up to about $1.40. So there we are, like that. Well, that was a wild gap, huh? On was that October? No, it's September, August. August, it gapped up massively. So a gap has basically been the top, right there. 143. So 143. It's trading at 92. What is that? 50% would have been 70 something. It never even saw 50%, whereas Bitcoin saw almost 70,000. It's traded as low as 25. So that's down almost 60 some odd percent. This thing has only been down about 37%, something like that. That's not too bad. So that's pretty good. It definitely looks like a better product. You're right. It is a better product. The market says it is, without a doubt. And you say it is because of its technology. So that's good. That's very good. So you've been buying it since... Wait, it doesn't say... It says $1.40. So how did you pay $3 for it? Did it split? Is that what it did? Yeah, how did you pay $3 for something that says the high is $1.43? We'll watch you finish that off. That's interesting. Going back a while. Oh, there it is. I see it. Back in 2018, it was up. You've been buying it since 2018? At $2. Still don't see it at $2 on the chart here. Did they split it? Is that what they did? Did they do a split of some form? Huh. So yeah, that's interesting. This thing is worse than Bitcoin. So it's taken a bigger hit. It's up to $3. It's going down. So it's lost over 66% also. But what's kind of interesting is with the split, whatever they did to it, when you look at this, was it a 3-for-1, something like that? So from the split, it's not looking that bad. But you've paid some interesting numbers. Now, dollar average. Okay. Yeah, well, that's the way you got to. That's the way you got to trade these things. You got a dollar cost average into those things. That makes total sense. All right. Where else are we going? Anybody else? Doesn't matter. If Metho, you have other questions, keep on firing them out. We'll answer them as best as we can. But again, cryptos, you're fighting against the central bank, and you know that the central bank will lose sooner or later. More like later, but it will lose. It will have to clean itself up and start acting functional again. It's fallen off course dramatically over the decades. And since 2008, it has gone totally off the rails. So there's no wrong chart. I invest only small in crypto. Smart. Yeah, you know what? If you treat it like the old professionals used to treat it, the most of your portfolio would be somewhere between 1% and 2% at times. That's the smallest. And probably the largest would be about 5% of your portfolio. That's pretty much where it belongs. Just like that's the way gold and silver were in the pre-option days before the founding of listed options. and the change of the marketplace. The marketplace changed dramatically after options were created, for the better, I think. But in the end result is that the old money managers would carry anywhere from 1 or 2% of gold all the time to as high as 3% or 5% when they saw inflation coming. So, and they would liquidate their assets. They would reduce their stock holdings. So, it would make sense that at given times you're buying one. Like now that it's down towards the low, you would think that you would be more aggressive. Trying to increase your portfolio up to the 5% area, since it's being sold out cheap at the moment. Metho says I invest on most is in S&P 500. Let's take a look at that. 5%, 5% in cryptos. 10% in gold? 10% in gold and silver, and 85% in S&P. That's a good portfolio for this last 15 years, 12 years, something like that. Now you have 40%. What's that in cryptos? Cash. Okay. Yeah. Well, you just keep on nibbling. Stay with that mix. It sounds good to me. And then let's go over to here. Let's take a look at the S&P 500, since you mentioned it. There's the S&P 500. That's a September contract. That's the front month starting today. You see it's been in a buy, and we're in a second week of, oh, look at that. The weekly is getting closer and closer to the edge again. Yeah, that makes sense. 40% in cash is what you do is you put collars on your S&Ps. This way you don't have to get out. All you do is sell time. So you put collars on that are like 6 months out, 7 months out, and then you can roll them to adjust. And this way you can collect. If you do it in diamonds, you collect the dividend at the same time. Cash, to a great extent, doesn't have to be moved the way it used to be. You can adjust your portfolio, but what happens is that with options, you can basically sell the call against your long product and buy a put with the premium from the selling of the call. Try to put it on for free and collect the dividend that you've been collecting from the underlying product itself. That's why I always say, ever since the option era started in '76, it's been better for the markets, not worse. Markets grew because of it. Yeah. Well, collar will do the same thing for you. You won't lose any money by doing a collar, because what happens is that if you put it on for a credit, then what happens is that you make money. So if let's say it goes through the roof, which more than likely I think it will do, it'll go. The markets should move up from the elections. Then I would assume, assets increasing. You're still getting your dividends. You're protected in case it did crash. The whole bit. But I have no doubt in my mind. Matter of fact, ever since this crazy Securities Exchange Commission got the odd idea about changing the way brokers are allowed to make a market, basically. Instead they should force brokers out the door unless they understand using options. And if a portfolio has X amount of assets, they should say that if they want to create a rule that will protect those assets. You can't drive a car without insurance. You can't buy a house without insurance. You can't live without health insurance. They make you buy that. So why not have an asset insurance? And that's what options do. It's an asset insurance. All right. From there, let's take a look at the euro, because I understand the euro perked up its head very well. Let's see, where is it at? Right there. There's the euro. It's trying to get back into the buy again. We're in a second week of the buy, so maybe we're going to see some real action on the euro. Get through this 107 area, go climb up into the, maybe like I thought. I thought we'd challenge this stuff up in here, the 109 range. Let's see how it looks on crypto. Not crypto, I'm sorry, J4X. Right there. You see it's got some green going. Green's above the dashed line, so they're doing some buying there. And I agree with you. You want to be careful about the election. There's no doubt about that. But I think it's going to be a positive, and it'll probably rally into the election. And then if it plays out the way I think it could play out, and they get a veto-proof House, then basically it's 2 years of vacation for Mr. Biden. He won't be able to do a thing. The executive orders will be contradicted. Every time he does something, they can stop it, not just delay it. But all they need is about 70, 75 seats, something like that. They need a 2/3 majority, and a 2/3 majority in the House of Representatives is about 290 seats. So yeah, they get that, then they're going to stop them cold, and we'll see from there. All right, let's look at cable. Cable was kind of moving down this morning last I saw it. There's right there. Just on the edge. Let's widen it out. You can see on the right side right there, it's just minus by a little, whatever it is. We will widen this so you can see it better. There we are. So it's trying to fall back into the daily sell, and the weekly at the same time is trying to rally. So the British pound seems to be holding up pretty firm in there. From there, let's take a look at the Turkish lira. When I was filling in the numbers last night, it was like, oh, they have it up to over 18 now in the euro Turkish lira. So let's take a look at the dollar Turkish lira, and then we'll go to the euro from there. Look at that right there, trading at 17.23. That's what I've been saying. It looks like it wants to go back to 18. Whatever Mr. Aragon has done, he needs to stop it. For 6 months, he was doing it right. Now, all of a sudden, he's changed his direction, and now he's hurting the currency again and the economy. It's been that long weekly buy now since all the way back into February, all the way forward. Just show it to you there real quick. So let's take a look at the euro Turkish lira here. This is the one we really like to follow. And it's at 18.5 now. Wow. We're thinking, if it gets up to, well, they started this process when the dollar Turkish lira was trading at 18. When it traded to 18, they created this new policy. Now that they've done something that is disrupting that policy, you can see here we're climbing up in every direction. The euro Turkish lira refuses to let go also. It's been in the buy since there. And no, that's the dollar Turkish lira. Right there. It's weaved a little bit here and there, but overall it's in a weekly buy now for three full weeks, and a daily buy from back in here from the 1560 area. And now we're trading in the 1860 area. So whatever he's doing, stop it. Please, Mr. President for life, Aragon, please stop beating up your currency. Metho 2000, what did you say that they blocked you? Oh no. All right, from there we'll take a look at the Canadian. Canadian's kind of perking its head up. Yesterday it tried to get into the buy and failed, but today it's trying it again. We got a red and a green. Maybe we'll get a little action out of it on the upside. Still in a weekly sell with no problem whatsoever right there. You can see it went in there last week. After this whole big slide, we go into a daily sell here, and finally it gets into a weekly sell all the way out in here, like 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, and now you can see it keeps on dancing underneath the buy. So I guess the let's see. Oh, there you go. Dukascopi's put up some stuff. ECB nullifies about future plans. Notifies. That's it. Notifies. And enjoy the platform. Leave the Trustpilot review. Cool. Let's see. From there, let's put Canadian up on the screen here. There's dollar CAD. And you can see we're trying to perk our head up there with it. You can see it's been in the green since here. So there was no trade. Now you got this going into green and this is in the green. So now there's some strength kicking out. So we'll see how they get riding on the upside on that. We kind of think that it follows the oil industry pretty well. So it makes sense that it's been going, gaining against the dollar. Oh, there we go. I can use cash money for trading if S&P don't drop. I see. It could. But at the same time, if you sell a call and buy a put, then you can take the cash that you lost in the account by the put itself. The put will make the money. And at the same time, if you're doing the DIAs and you're collecting the dividend, you still keep on, not DIAs, SPYs. If you're doing the SPY, you still collect the dividend. And what's the dividend yield now? About 3%? 2.5%? Something like that? So you basically, it's not free, but it's very close to being free. A 3% return. Yeah. Okay, what else can we say about that? All right, from there, we take a look at the energy sector. And there is crude oil. It's off a little bit. It's trading around 121.50. Still in the daily buy for 5 full days now. And a weekly buy now since like April 14th. So that's 3, that's 6. This is the 9th week in a buy from the 90s area. Now we'll take a look at gold. And there's gold. Gold's trying to, it's in a daily sell from here, and it's trying to roll over even more now. It's finally trying to break down. Went into the weekly sell here too. So it's not yet there. I mean it's in a daily sell for 3 days going on a 4th day, and the pressure is on. And that usually puts pressure on the South African rand. We see the South African rand usually reflect that. So let's see what that's doing too. In other words, it should be trying to lift up now. And if it's not, then it's signaling to us that the gold is going to turn. It's acting up a little bit, but overall it's pretty impressive. It's been in a sell since here, the South African rand. It's been riding down. It's been in a weekly sell since here. So there it is there. That's the South African rand, and that's the way it usually functions. So what else can we say about that? I kind of think that the metals complex is going to have a better 2023. I do. I think we're going to see a much better 2023. They may start anticipating it and start building a bottom somewhere over in September or October, something like that, maybe November, any one of those areas. But I really do think that the metals complex is going to go up in value going into the next year. I don't know. I guess that means maybe cryptos will go with it. I don't know. I've been a little confused on cryptos, but they seem to be the flip side. When equities are rising and gold is rising, they rise, and when they're going down, they go down. Let's see. From there, we jump over to the Japanese yen. The yen did it hit the 5? We were thinking when it went into this daily buy that it was going to go after the 35 area. It's gotten pretty close. It's got to 134.47. What's today's high? Today's high is 55. So it made another high and then is trying to back off a little bit. Nothing major, just a down candle. But we still have a green dot, and you can see the pressure on the upside there. Then from there, let's check out the Mexican peso. There it is right there. Let's see. Nothing there, just steady sitting underneath the trading range. Now, we've talked about this before. I like to remind people all the time that Canada's currency and the Mexican peso has been a very, 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 I was yawning there, was a very, held their ground very well. You know, they stayed inside their range to a great extent. Didn't really step much out of it. This is the furthest this thing has done, is going through there. You know, it's just underneath the range compared to all the other currency pairs around the world who really crushed their trading ranges. They're all fighting to get back into the range now, but that was really interesting to see. It kind of tells you where the mindset is of institutions and funds when you see that type of action occur. All right, that does it with the currencies. And if anybody wants to see any particular currency, you can just shout it out. We'll just just write it on the chat line, and we'll go right to it. You don't even have to ask questions. You don't even have to talk. You don't have to do anything. I won't bother you. All right. So from there we go over to the rest of the energies, and there's gold. You know, we see gold there. Let's see what silver is doing. And we'll put it up on J4X. There is gold. Just kind of hanging out. Nothing major. And then there is silver. Silver doing the same thing, showing the pressure. It wasn't a buy throughout all this run, going nowhere. Now it's flirting with the daily sell again. It's been in a weekly sell since the 14th of April. So they don't seem to have a lot of interest in these products. It's kind of curious in many ways, but you know, someone should remind them that there's a world of inflation going on at the moment. And that's the thing that always blows my mind, is they don't you know, that's, you know, cryptos. We can take a quick look at cryptos, and we can look at the stock indices, and then we can look at the metals and so forth. But it has been a surprise that it could not get its game together. So in other words, you had gold here, and we go back to November when gold was when the cryptos collapsed. Gold was trading around the 119 area, maybe 118 and a half, 119ish, I guess, something like that. 1900, and it's fallen about 150 points, whereas cryptos have lost over 60% of their value. So, you know, that's really hard to deal with when it comes to trying to understand what makes the crypto move. Not as if the Federal Reserve was being more efficient on some level. They were being just as dysfunctional as usual. So, I mean, they were walking around telling everybody that inflation for the last, I guess it was like, 12 months now? They've been telling us since July of last year, maybe May of last year. Over 12 months they've been telling us that inflation is transitory. Don't worry about it. Now we've gone triple, quadruple up. We've gone from 1.5, 2 to 8.5. So we've 4 times up. You know, 4 times the 2 is 8. So, you know, the central bank itself has not exactly, the Federal Reserve has not really given us much insight and predictability, and none of the people in the administration will do that either. Let's take a look at copper this morning. Copper is trying to stay in that sell. You see it's in the weekly buy and a daily sell. It doesn't seem to want to let go either. We kind of thought that when they took it down to almost $4 that it was going to be like some type of sign that things were turning around when it bounced up into the 50s again. But not really. I think when you scrunch it up, Let's do it on J4X here. When you scrunch it up, it's pretty much going nowhere. You see it's really locked in some type of range here. This could be the 1, 2, 3, 4, and they go down and challenge the low 4s again. All right, let's see what else can we say about that. From copper, let's see what platinum. We've been talking platinum a couple weeks before everything got rolling along. Where are you, platinum? Right there, July platinum, and it got up to what, 11 and a half? I mean 10 and a half, something like that. 10.37. So platinum took off in the weekly buy here in the 875 area, and has been in a weekly buy for that whole move from here. I should put the line in there. So the metals complex overall is just telling us that they have no direction. I think, oh, what do we got here? Recession plus copper. I wait. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, when in doubt, do nothing. That's, we always say there's 3 positions you can have on. You can be long, you can be short, or you can be neutral. And you're saying you're going to stay neutral, which makes total sense. Look, when in doubt, stay neutral. Don't trap yourself. My opinion is instead of taking capital gains, when you do the options, it sets it up so you don't have to take the capital gains. And so that's the only reason I suggest that. But use the options to make yourself neutral. There's all kinds of opportunity with options. At one time, they allowed you to not have to pay taxes for over 10 years. It was really great. And then it was an arbitrage between when you finally had to pay taxes, you paid your taxes, but you had been collecting money on that money for 10 years. So it was like a free bond. That's what options do. They do wonderful things like that. Yeah, CPI tomorrow. That should be interesting. Yeah, I'm hearing that now the Atlanta Fed has moved their prediction from, I guess, down from 5% down to now 0.9, under 1. And they're probably going to do a couple more drops. They may go down to plus 0.1 or 0.2, something like that. But yeah, they've definitely starved them. There's no doubt about that. They definitely starved them. So they're at least projecting reality now. Really, it's we've been disappointed that they don't. And it's nice that they are. It really is. All right, from there, where do we go from there? Let's go to the energies and see what the energies look like. Energies. So there's spot crude right there, backing off a little bit. And let's see what North Sea is doing up on J4X. Where are you? There's Brent right there. Down a little bit. You see that? Under a pound or something like that, or $1, under $1.84. So you can see here on J4X, you can see the line is trying to cross. The volume is dropping. What else do we say? From there, we go over to natural gas. Right there. We're going to show you what the back month is, because we're finding this kind of interesting. The back month in American oil, it's trading at 121. They were about a $9 spread to it. Now the October contract is trading at almost 14. Right? So if 114 versus 121, that's 7 and change. So that's pretty good. Maybe 17 and a half. So it's picked up $1 and change. It's interesting. The contango, the back months, are starting to pick up value. So they're starting to they're saying before, when they were trading at a discount, it was like a supply and demand thing, and everybody was thinking, okay, maybe things are not too bad. Maybe they won't get out of hand. Now they're starting to push the back months up. When they start to put premium into those back months, then you want to load up your machines with all the fuel you can, because it's going to get uglier. All right, from there we go over to natural gas here too, and there's nat gas, and it's taking it on the chin the last couple of days. We went to a sell yesterday, but it's still in that weekly buy now since January. It's been in a weekly buy since the 380 area, something like that. It's gone to $9 now in that weekly buy. Remember, traders, nothing that moves in a straight line. It just kind of zigzags a little here, zigzags a little there, and before you know it, it's higher. Our math usually picks it up pretty well, which is pretty cool. About 8.5 out of 10 times our math is going to pick it up. So from there we go over to, what is it? I guess that's it. Now let's take a look at European oil. Because this is the American oil contract. Let's see what they're doing with euro. Let's see if it's under 28 again. There it is right there. 27, good. So I'd like to see that thing find a way to get down into the 22s, 23s, make things a little bit more peaceful for people over in Europe. They talk about bringing in more gas and so forth from other places in the world. Obviously not the United States, since Mr. Biden seems to be really fighting that. They really hate energy. They really defy the laws of physics. All right. That does it for the energies. Let's take a look at the stock indices. So there's the Tech 100. You see it's moving down a little today. But the math itself is telling us, don't worry, be happy. The weekly was plus, now it's minus again. Keeps on doing that in and out. Then let's take a look at it on J4X, and let's look at the June contract. That's the September contract. So, where are you? There you are. So there it is. You can see some of the red going on there, the pressure on it. They're trying to get that thing to go. And June contract's doing the same thing. It's falling underneath it now. So we can remove that again. Really having a hard time getting into the buy. And I guess if interest rates are going to rise everywhere, then it's really going to put... What's that? E-bike. Yeah, I have an e-bike. I agree. I take the bicycle. Yeah, but electricity is not cheaper. We're not exactly getting cheap electricity or something like that. It's still expensive, electricity. So from there we jump over to the S&P 500. There's the September contract. It's doing the same thing now. It's flirting with the weekly sell, whereas it was in a weekly buy. Right there. That's the pressure we see. Then from there we'll go take a look at the contract that's losing its front month position. There's the June contract. And see how it's holding up. It's 10.20, 10.20. It's still on the plus side. Then from there we're going to drift over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's see. Right there. There's the September contract. It's backing off a little bit. Still in that buy from all those days. And the weekly is still holding on by the hair of its chest. Now let's take a look at the June contract. Right there. And you see there it's holding up much better. Now this is not the front month, and it is not, it's probably locked in. Ooh, what's this? I take the bicycle e-bike 1 kilowatt for a day. It's 40 cents. True. How far are you going though? And you can bicycle too at the same time. How green you are. Save the solar system. I always say that around here. Save the solar system. We have some of our planets in the solar system out of the last 4 or 5 years have slipped into ice ages. Mars is having all these earthquakes out of nowhere. Pluto has lost a third of its atmosphere. So you must stop what you're doing on Earth to save the solar system. That's the way I see it. Whatever's going... Oh, I heard... is it Venus? I think it was Venus. Their atmosphere is freaking out of nowhere. It's gotten very poisonous, more than ever before, and just in the last couple of months. So it's closest to the sun compared to us, closer to the sun compared to us. So, yeah, save the solar system and save money. All right, pedal power. All right, from there, we're going to take a look at the most speculative stock index of them all here in the States, and that is the Russell 2000. We'll leave that back month. This is the June contract. You can see it's trading in 1881. The high is 2600. So it's off a good chunk. It went down to 1700 here. It's been in that daily buy with the S&P and the rest of them for weeks, and it still can't get into a weekly buy. It's still been pressured down since the 2100 area, 20 and a half area, 20 and a quarter area, something like that. It went into the weekly sell. So it went from 20 and a quarter down to 17. And that's our weakest of stock indices, the Russell 2000. Must be the Chinese coal factories on Venus. Exactly, Janos. Good point. Good point. Yeah, I just saw that on my space cosmology website, that one of our satellites picked up that the atmosphere has become very poisonous compared to normal, and hotter compared to normal. Why is Neptune and Jupiter and Saturn having their issues on the cold side, and Venus having it on the hot side, and Mars freaking out with earthquakes and the atmosphere dropping off of Pluto all in the last 5 years? It's SUVs out of Detroit, America. And that's something. SUVs have an effect over the whole solar system. It could be. I agree with you. It's got to be the Chinese. All right. From there, where do we go from? Oh, let's see. Let's take a look at the other products that we were looked at, like the Nikkei. Let's see what the Nikkei is doing. Oh, let's show you the Bitcoin too. There's the Bitcoin. We showed you that. It was in the daily sell from yesterday. Kind of flirting, doing nothing major. Been in that long weekly sell, from there. We showed it to you there. Let's see what that S&P looks like on J4X. Pressure there too. Could be that. That's friction, That's like the first. It's like the second. It's a. Well, actually, they're writing. They're basically the second law of thermodynamics is falling apart. So Newton's second law of thermodynamics, because it's a measurement of heat and light and so forth, and and work. I guess it's work, heat and work. So F equals ma. So I understand that there's a woman scientist out of Oxford and in Deutsch, Donnie Deutsch. They're playing around with this new concept. Now, I mean, we've seen this for years because of LED lighting and so forth. It doesn't matter. It kind of defies the laws of the second law of thermodynamics. So they come up with a new concept. It's called construct theory, and so they're trying to commingle it with quantum theory. But yeah, I mean, basically that kind of fits that second law of thermodynamics. The rap music, the friction from the records or the laser discs that they're playing, or just maybe you just put it into your computer with a USB, and something has to turn, and that means it's going to generate friction, and before you know it, it's interfering with the whole bloody solar system. Yep, you're right. I go with you. You're on target, definitely. Let's take a look at the Nikkei. See what they're doing there. There it is. There's the June contract. That's been rioting up. You know, the currency's losing value, and they've been buying the Nikkei, which is kind of interesting. It's been that daily buy there, weekly buy back in here. So from the 2600 area, 2700 area, we've gotten now to the 28 area. So that's doing a pretty good job. Then from there, we'll go take a look at, let's do this. Let's take a look at, where is it at? Let's go like right there. Close that. Close that workspace. And go there. I'm going to do that. Then we're going to do this. I want to close that. And then let's take a look at the where was I headed? I had something in my head. What was I thinking about? I wanted to look at something. I wanted to open something up. That's what it is. I want to look at the DAX. Let's see where the DAX is at. There we go. Yeah, let's find the DAX. There it is right there. I don't understand why it's not updating. There should be like some type of update going on. But they're not updating it. Let's see where the DAX is on J4X. 40. Where are you? There you are. Pressure's on that too. You can see the green line fading on the downside. You can see the two red bars, and you can see the volume dropping. So, and that's what we're seeing here on Chicago Quant. Same situation. No, actually, not yes. It hasn't done it yet. We're still in the buy there. We're still in the buy. Let's just make it bigger on J4X. Yeah, it's done that same run like that, and that run up like that. That action there. We've done the same thing right there. Now that long run up. So they're moving along. Now we've started to try to roll over, but we're still getting this buy signal. I kind of want to think that if the continent is going to get into the world of being in business again and making money, then you would think that the German environment would be satisfactory. Oh, there you go. They made a quote. 2732. So it's down a little bit this morning. Right there. There's a trade. But our internal work is barely moving. All right, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc from North America. Talk to you all tomorrow on Friday, which will be TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. Happy trails to you until we trade again. Happy trails to you, to our Dukascopy friends. Later, traders. Be safe, be smart. We will catch you tomorrow.